a limiting factor to what we can achieve in life. Beyond the sky is our limit. Welcome to season 2, episode 21 of our podcast series, the podcast that inspires and educates through the sharing of real life experiences. With me today is 13-year-old Indian Hasini Lakshmi. Hasini is a freelance writer, young journalist, a board member of Child Chapter, amongst others. Hello, Hasini, and welcome to Podcast with Sheila.
Hi. Thank you so much for inviting me. I'm so excited to interact with you as well. And I hope the audience find this interaction very much interesting to hear. And yeah, please do support the podcast. That's what I want to say.
Great. It's a delight to have you. Because I read your profile on LinkedIn and I was so impressed at the things you do. So we're going to talk about everything, but let's take it one step at a time. So do you have a favorite quote that you would like to share with us?
I love quotes because, see, if you just look around my room, right, there is one quote sticking, possibly every corner which you can find. But one quote which is most, I guess if I can share two probably, because I am put into so many stuff that inspirational stuff which I can't deny one and particularly prioritize one.
Right.
One I would say is there are no failures, only feedback. This is right. So this is something which I've been put into since I was young. I'll mention it. My dad is actually himself an author, public speaker, and writer. So he is much more involved into all of these, internet, social media, speaking, and he has great followers. Like he's addressed so many schools so far. So whenever since I was young, I've been traveling along with him. So that's how I learned about public speaking. And since then, I've been listening to this quote so frequently because he talks about it with pride. So there are no failures, only feedback basically means that whenever you fail, it doesn't mean that it is necessarily a failure. And instead, you can take it as a new learning, take it as a new beginning, and ensure that you don't do it the next time. And let me tell you something, whenever you fail, that is the very first time you start learning and get experiencing. That's when you feel that this is wrong and this is something which you're not supposed to do in your field. A lot of people do not understand this term in the early beginning, as like I did in entrepreneurship as well. But some people tend to drop down what they're doing because of this, because they will not have confidence, or probably they won't have the right support for them to for example, I had my parents and family, they didn't let me stop, first things. Second thing, they motivated me to cross the period which I was going through, a little bit of criticism and insecurity, which I guess we can talk about later. Something every social influencer will have to face. So I had family to support, but many people doesn't, right? So at those times, I guess this quote will definitely help. There are no failures, only feedback. It was a new learning for me, and I guess I have improvised from what I have went to the past, and I guess people should also do. The second thing is choices have consequences. A very, very, very truly said quote, which is very close to my heart. See, the consequence might be either a good one or a bad one, but it depends on the choice which we make. So, this applies to every single thing which you do. For example, when you take it in, the work I do, if I decide to go and approach few minutes later for my interview, then I'll be the one facing the consequences, right? I'll either be confused, or the same time, if I choose to be prepared, go on time, then I'll be the one facing the right consequences, which is by the interview getting up well. So the same thing works on life circumstances as well. It depends on you. So always think twice or thrice. And I also think if you're doing it for yourself, and then do it. So choices have consequences. That is the top two quotes which I
Wow.
basically love.
Wow, 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 wow. These are deep things you shared with us. And it's amazing how a 13-year-old like you will be able to enlighten us on every quote you've put out. You get it like that. But from what I gather from everything you've just said, it means you've just followed the footsteps of your dad. And this is so impressive. I was going to ask you about that in the later part, but I'll still ask you because I really want to know how you have generated along the way to become the beautiful person you are, with so much wisdom and knowledge and with so much confidence like you are now. But let's go, like I said earlier, let's go one pace at a time till we get there. So tell us a little bit more about you, where you come from, your background, and let's get to know who Hasini is.
Right. So, okay, first off, before I answer the question itself, thank you so much for the appreciation, because this is what which keep motivating me to do more. So I just wanted to mention it before I can move on. So yeah, thank you so much. That was so welcoming, and I felt so good right now, because people do feel proud when other people or the host which is gonna address them, talk proudly about them. I feel very enlightened basically. So yeah, now let me move on.
Okay.
So yeah, I am Hasini LakshmiNarayanan. I'm an 8th grader. I just turned 13. So yeah, I'm a teenager and I study in Chettinad Vidyashram, which is in Chennai, Tamil Nadu, India. So I come from India, and I'm happy about it. So yeah, I come from India, and I am the founder of the First Step, which basically is a non-profit organization where we basically aim to inspire and motivate other children in our age to initiate their first step at a young age, which is by interviewing young achievers and doing activities related to that in order to inspire children. So that's what we aim for. We work as a team. There are about 15 plus children so far in my team. And apart from this, we have a blog page, because people have their own priorities, right? Some would want to listen to the videos, some would want to read. So we wanted to make it easily accessible. But not only this, we also write about some inspirational content. And also in the first step, not only do I do this talk show, apart from this, we also have launched a new series called The Word of Seven Lines, which basically is, I am not sure if you know about Tirukural, but if not, let me tell you.
No, wait,
Tirukural,
Lakshmi, wait, hold it a bit, hold it. I don't want us to go too quickly so that our listeners
right.
can get every bit of thing you do.
Sure.
So I read from your profile that you're a freelance writer, right? What do you write about? And
Okay.
how did writing for you, how did it start?
Yeah. As I said, as my dad is a writer, I'm not sure if it is a gene, but it was built in me.
Great.
So whenever there is like a literary competition held in my school, right, I would enroll even without informing my parents, basically. So I'd be the very first one to enroll for the competition, inter-school competitions. That is, you call it out, uh, poem writing, article writing, speech. So I'm very involved into literature, that one particular vast subject. So that's how writing started for me. But also that I have been awarded several prizes in this writing. So every time I attend a competition, right? I guess I can say this with pride. I ensure that I've been awarded the second or first prize overall. So yeah, at that time it didn't mean a lot to me. I didn't know that I had this potential. I just did it as a hobby for my happiness, because at that point I was used to being awarded prizes. So that's how I led a life in school. uh, then pandemic came. I had totally apart from this, I write for my own blog.
Great.
So yeah, their journalism works, my own research and stuff works,
Wow.
along with my team and the editor there.
You have
So,
a team you work with?
Yeah.
Great. How many people are in your team?
Close to 15 people, and the best part is that this association is run by children, for the children, by the children.
Wait, do you pay them?
No, we don't pay them, because what we aim for is, end of the day, they should get some knowledge, and they should provide knowledge back to other people. So we are not paying anybody right now, and as I said, it's a non-profit organization. So yeah.
Great. So then let's move on straight to talk about your non-profit organization. So you started it. What's it called?
Yeah. It's called The First Step. So okay, yeah. You want me to talk about?
Tell us about the first step. Yeah.
Okay. So as I mentioned, The First Step is a non-profit organization where we aim to inspire and motivate young children to initiate their first step at a young age. So the reason behind I named it The First Step is because, see, every successful person in life would have this moment, that turning point in their life, which had led them to this part of success where they are, grooming right now. So that one single step is very, very important, and what, according to me, I thought is, uh, taking that first step in, a young age would definitely beneficial that child in the future, so he or she could learn a lot and could shine out with their potentials in what they had. Because if at some point in India, right, not only in India, if you take in anywhere in the world, that child will be asked if what you want to be based out on, or what you want to study further on.
Yeah.
Sometimes the child might be forced by the parents or the societies to study on a particular subject, or to take a particular path in their life, which I thought might be cruel at times. And as well, I wanted children to speak out on what they can do and what they are capable of. So that's another idea behind the first step. So we wanted to spread that motivation, that single motivation, which might tend children to initiate their first step at a young age, which I thought is only for me can be possible by interviewing young achievers, that is, child prodigies, children who had achieved at a young age. Because, see, people get attracted and inspired to other people whom they might look up to. Because I thought these stories are very, very inspirational, for me at a young age. So, if people start looking, if this is possible doing at a young age, why can't I? Then they start automatically doing. So that's the idea behind the whole organization, and how it started, the pandemic. Um, so yeah, as I said, I am very more involved into public speaking, hosting, debating, writing, and other stuff. So one day my dad approached, back in 2020, this happened. My dad asked me if you want to do something for Father's Day. I agreed, and then I started interviewing some of my friends for Father's Day.
Okay.
And yeah, then we posted it on social media. Initially, we had no plan, but I was surprised for the fact that it reached so many views. And talking about these views, I'm talking about my expectations. I thought literally 30 people who didn't even see this on YouTube, but it crossed over 500 views. So that was surprising for me, because of course, 500 might not be a very big number, if I can mention, but for me, I never thought that this would happen. So then I automatically gained a confidence, and I asked my parents if I can continue interviewing people. Then I needed a particular concept, right? I can't just be interviewing. So since I was young, I had a dream of inspiring children. So I thought this is the opportunity for me to shine, as screen time has also increased. And then we came with this concept. We created the concept together, me along with my dad, my mentors. That's few of my dad's friends who've been with me since I was young, who've trained me in public speaking as well. So with all of the other suggestions, as they know what would pop out and what wouldn't as their experience, Then that's how it started. So every time I ensure that, you know, and my dad especially ensures that I'm going on the right path.
Wow.
And always I do also ensure that I would want to consult to people before I get into something, if this would actually work or not, because that's best, right? You
It
don't want to
is.
get into something which you are totally not experienced in, or without any guidance. So that's how the first step started. To what it has reached right now. Okay, one more thing. It started, the association was launched officially on 20th of July, which is my birthday. So
Right.
that's another sentimental thing. And now we finished its 1 year anniversary. We launched our new series. So the to the place where we have reached right now, on to how we started with zero expectations. I'm very, very proud that the first step has crossed about 54,000 plus views on our socials. And the fact that I've addressed so many people right now, we are very, very happy. And yeah, I'm really, really grateful to everybody who supported me, especially my parents, then my team, then my fellow followers and peers who've been supporting me. So yeah.
Wow. Wow. Wow.
How
Wow. Wow, this is so impressive. You realize I just kept quiet, soaking all the information, listening to everything you've done. I think you've done marvelously well, because it's not easy putting yourself out there. All I say every time I say that, it's not easy putting yourself out there for people to judge you. You get it? Because the moment you bring out a phrase, a sentence, a motivational word, the moment you put a video out there, you're giving yourself up for people to judge everything you do. And sometimes people, you will not get everybody giving you a thumbs up for what you're doing. Sometimes they tend to give you a thumbs down. And for you to put yourself together and still give them content, or still go with the things you're still doing without the negative effects of people bringing you down, and still keep you going, is a remarkable thing to do as a young person. And for everything you're doing, I think you're doing marvelously well. And I'm glad to hear that your parents are in support of that, what you're doing, and they are supporting you 100%. That is great. I think that if most of the children can be doing the things you do, the future looks very bright. If we have it,
thank you.
all the children doing the things you're doing, the future really, really looks very bright. I'm going to ask you the same question I asked the lady who came, the young girl who came in episode 19 and episode 20. I'm going to ask you the same thing, because both of the children I've interviewed previously, they are doing so well. And it looks like, from what they told me, I'll find out from you if you're having this. Do you have friends?
Yeah, a lot.
How do they feel about your achievements?
Okay, very particular question. So answering the question, when
Mm-hmm.
I started, like initially back, you know, like the first week or something, people were confused to see me in such a state, because I was all day sitting on my computer, just not even responding to the text. That's how sincerely I was into. But yeah, of course, right now I am with my friends the whole time. One interesting fact which I can probably say, but yeah, my friends were confused for the fact. And quite some time, they started discouraging in another way, that okay, why do you even have to avoid us doing something which you think uh, would this even work out, Hastini? And then slowly, of course, they took back what they said, because after seeing me coming out successfully in other ways. See, I'm not going to say that I am successful yet, but to the expectations I had, of course, I'll break it 100 times. So yeah, I'm happy about it. So after seeing me in this state, of course, they're also very, very supportive. And especially one thing which I am lucky and gifted in is that my society and the people whom I am around, right, really motivate me towards whatever I do, even though they have a lot of corrections to pinpoint, right? Which I particularly find isn't exactly direct criticism, because I tend to learn a lot when people are going to criticize me. Except for the fact if the criticism is going to be way too personal, I tend to avoid it. But the rest of the times, if that is going to be about the way I pronounce a word, or about my accent, or about the way I talk, I tend to take it. The shorter the time is, the more you have to prepare.
Yeah.
You can easily talk for 2 hours, but talking for 2 minutes is when you go through a lot of preparation, because in that 2 minutes, you'll have to rightly convey whatever you want to talk on those 2 hours. So that's very, very concerning, according to me, because the preparation which was put into TEDx was ultimately so much, because I thought, okay, it's just going to be me preparing the whole thing, having my dad pinpoint my corrections as usual, correct it, just do the speech. But what happened is, 6 months ago, the preparation started. Back in November for my April, the TED was on April 2021.
Okay.
I had to prepare for it till, starting from November, that is 2020.
Yeah.
So first we were, asked to prepare a short video, then, content. The part of the speech which I'm going to, that is the content itself, that was being changed. And then, of course, I'm happy about it, because that process itself, I learned a lot about what people, look for from a speaker,
Yeah.
what people would get attracted on. Because, we had experienced mentors who trained a lot of TED champs on TEDx, who trained us. So for me, I was put into TEDx at Youth KRM Public School. There, in KRM school, they only allow children from their school. But I don't belong to KRM. I am from an outer school. I was a guest there. So
Okay.
I luckily got an opportunity to do a TED there. And then, slowly I got an opportunity somehow, and they did a qualification, like, there were only 5 people who can do a TED in that
Okay.
particular, as it was COVID as well. So they had limitations on seats as well. So I was selected into the 5, which I particularly find very, very lucky, and I'm proud, of course. So then, of course, experience, amazing experience, lifetime experience, if I can say. That was so wonderful, the greatest learning which I have ever had. Not only did they tell me on, only about speaking, only about improving that, also about what people expect for. I myself got in confidence, because I was asked to change my content, and I literally, failed every single time in my timing. For a TED, only if you cross 18 minutes, you'll be qualified. But for
Oh.
me, the very first time I spoke, it was 21 minutes, then it decreased to 16, then it
Oh.
rose up to 17. So, yeah, it started varying. So, I was the only person who can do it below 18. Every
Oh.
time I practice in home, I reach up to 18 or 21 minutes. And every time I get back on the stage for rehearsals, it automatically decreases.
Whoa.
Sometimes children are way too young to understand the terms I
Yeah.
talk about. I tend to talk with their parents, getting them involved into what I talk, then educating their children more or less towards these terms which they might have to face later. Because for a child, right, the first person to break their insecurity would be their parents and peers. So I want to ensure, first, let me educate the parents and the other people to educate the children, so that they can have a better person whom I'm going to interview. But also, it's fun preparing, talking about me and myself, which particularly I find very interesting, which I don't often get to do.
Okay.
Right. And of course, I tend to learn a lot from you by end of the day, which, as said, you look up to the people who belong to your field, right? So you, being a host, once, by end of the interview, I would learn uh, the way you started the conversation. Ultimately good, which I can improvise while I do my interviews next time. So I tend to learn from every person whom I basically interact with, even with those 60 other children, right? I find them very inspiring. Each one of them are unique in some other way. And so I tend to learn a lot from them, and so do you, right? I mean, so from as well as I do from you, right? So
Yeah.
I will learn a lot from you. I believe I will by end of the interview, and I have certainly a lot since we started. So yeah, that's pretty much how it works with me. So that's how it feels. I'm excited the same way. I have relief that I don't have to again be the host, as I always don't get to. Second thing is that I get to learn a lot. So yeah.
Wow. I think it's a great thing you're doing, because that explains why you are the way you are, because you're always learning, and you learn from every environment you find yourself in, and you always also learn from everybody you meet. So that tells the reason why you are this rich in knowledge and in the things you do, because you've picked from different places and you've put it together as yours. And this makes you very, very unique. Seriously, I don't know how many 13-year-olds will be able to do the kind of things you do. Because from what I see, you do about 6, 7 things at the same time. So I don't know how many 13 years will be able to do this, because you're in school as well. So how are you able to do everything and then still make sure that your schoolwork is in the right place where it's supposed to be? I hope you get me. How do you do it? How do you manage your time and put everything together? Yeah.
Okay. So first thing, before I answer the question, I want to say that there are many other children apart from me who achieve way more than what I have.
Really?
Yeah, there are many other children. But yeah, this is only 10%, if not only 10, 7 or 8% of what it is happening in the world. So many more other children should also be, educated to get involved into the field where they wanted to belong. So yeah, that's what we aim for, and that's what we are doing till date. So I hope we educate many more of the children and the society that age is just a number. It isn't a barrier, and there is no right time to start. It depends on you.
Exactly.
So yeah, that's one thing. And now let me move on. This is one important question I guess pretty much everybody has. How do you manage between schoolwork and your extracurriculars and work? Right? Even I tend to ask it to my guests because we'd often girl children weren't allowed to study. But now, of course, it has evolved. So I believe it will evolve in the future. So now we have access to technology, which either might end up being good or bad. But yeah, if you take the good side, of course, it's going to end up being good. So yeah, apart from that, of course, I guess now children should also be prioritized. They should, be given a choice to speak out what they want to do. Because many children, right, they might be incredible in any field. For example, let me say arts. But in India, or probably you take any other state, right? If you're going to say, I want to be an artist, people wouldn't prioritize you. If children say, I want to be a doctor, I want to be an engineer, I want to be, a lawyer, then an IAS is going to face a consequence in the future.
Exactly.
And when this confidence is going to get down, right, then ultimately he or she will again be forced to become a doctor, an engineer, or an IAS assistant. So yeah, please don't do that. Avoid doing that. So that's what I want to educate people on. So my mission would be working towards that. That is child empowerment. And yeah, I want to empower children, creating a better, society for the next generation, so that they can also experience talking about what they want to prioritize, and also this generation, of course. So yeah.
Wow. I would like to say a massive thank you, Hasini, for coming on Podcast with Sheila today. I think that you should keep doing the things you are doing. They are very, very impressive, empowering other children to be better at themselves. And like you said, I think that all parents should give children the opportunity to explore and be able to follow their dreams, and not force our dreams on our children. You get it? Somebody wanted to be a doctor, they were not able to be that doctor. So when they have a child, they tell the child, you will be the doctor. So we are trying to live our lives through our children, and that's very, very bad. I think we shouldn't be doing that. So just like Hasini has said, if you are listening to us, please don't live your lives through your children. Allow the children to live their own lives. They have a path, let them follow it. And by that, they'll be excelling and they'll be exceptional children in their generation. So would like to say a massive thank you, Hasini, for coming on podcast to share today.
Thank you so much for inviting me. I had a great time today, and I hope the people also find this conversation interesting. And podcast with Sheila, I haven't listened to everything, but of course, I have listened to one or two. And I've read about the page itself. It is so much interesting. And I guess all of the guests who've been invited are so much inspirational. So, yeah, keep supporting. And once again, thank you so much. It's my honor being here. And I hope the people enjoyed and keep supporting the organization. Thank you.
So it was a delight. This is season 2, episode 21 of our podcast series, where we've been bringing your way seasoned guests with inspiring real life stories to share with us. Do not miss out on all these lovely experiences. Subscribe and be notified when a new episode is released. We have a video presentation of this episode on our YouTube channel. Just search for Podcast to Share on YouTube and you'll find us. Until we meet again in another episode, have a great episode.